So I'm Nagesh. I'm Senior Digital Marketing Strategist at Wisoft. I'm also joined by my friend and colleague, Mr. Faizan Ansari. He's also a Senior Digital Strategist, right? You can see him on screen, right? And we both are remotely connected. And this first of its kind webinar even I'm doing. So it's a really unique experience. Yeah, I mean, we are also living in times which is really unique, which is really unprecedented, right? Hope all of you are also connected remotely, most of you at least, right? And also, as you know, all of us, by staying at home can do a lot and contribute in coming out of this crisis, right? So I think we all will do whatever we can in our capacity and continue to work with health workers and government, right? So without much taking much time, so as all of you know, yeah, as all of you know, the today's topic is how businesses can navigate the COVID crisis through digital. Okay, I can hear some noise in the background. Sorry, I just
guys,
have to
can
pause.
You please put your volume on mic on mute, please?
Yeah. I think he's now mute. Okay. So we would request all of you to be on mute and
One
and
will
you
have
can correct. You can share your concerns over the chat. Correct. So as I was talking about the topic, right? How businesses can navigate COVID crisis and what are the steps that they can take through, especially digital, right? When people are not visiting the stores, when people are off the road, they're really scared to visit retail stores and shops, right? So what are the things that we can do? And interestingly, when we were at Wisoft Solutions, when we were talking to clients and when we were telling them the steps that they can take, the communication strategy that they can have, they really appreciated whatever we were talking and whatever we were helping them out, right? So that's when we thought whatever we were talking was is really of great help to a lot of businesses out there, small and big. So why don't we go ahead and do a webinar? So that's how the thought of webinar came to us. And here we are. So without much ado, it's over to Faizan. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, Nagesh. Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well, safe, and you're all at home. So Nagesh, can you move to So this is actually the agenda of today's discussion. So I'm not going to go much in details of what exactly we are going to cover on this slide itself, because anyways we are going to cover it. Just this is for your reference. So let's jump into the discussion actually. So basically, if you have any questions and queries, I would recommend, instead of talking directly, if you can just simply put up a message in the chat that you can see, and so we will try and answer all your queries in the Q&A session. And we will try to see, during the session as well, if we'll try and, answer your queries. All right. So thank you so much again for joining. Let's get started. Okay. So before actually, talking about everything else, let us just, formally introduce Wisoft Solutions to you guys. Wisoft Solutions is a growth-driven marketing agency. And we help companies and businesses like yours to grow with right digital strategies or right digital solutions. We started in 2010 as a mobile communication agency, and slowly growing into a 360 digital agency and helping clients across various verticals, namely real estate, healthcare, education, FMCG, and various other industries that we work with. We are also partners with HubSpot, which is a leading marketing platform. We started in Dubai, we have our operations in India, and now recently we have started our operations in USA as well. Yeah. All right. We are all aware of actually, what is happening right now in the world, and we are all affected. We are, it's at different, I should say, at a different length, breadth, and the depth. So it's the scenario is different for different verticals, different industries, and the different kind of businesses that you are in. So let us get get more of it. So you must be hearing a lot of things, and as Nagesh already told you that the reason doing this was, a lot of people were asking, they were concerned whether we should do marketing or not, whether we should stop marketing, what channels we should focus on, stuff like that. And that was the reason that triggered us to let's do a webinar and let's talk to everyone, not just our clients. Yeah. All right. So we need to first of all accept that what is happening right now. So if you look at the search trends, definitely there is a decline in most of the verticals. Starting from travel, if you look at there is a huge drop in the demand. If you look at only Google search or the search trends that are happening, just looking at that, you can clearly say there is a decline in the, because it is quite obvious, right? I mean, we need to understand the situation of the world, and at the same time, so yeah. So all right. However, I mean, if you look at, a recent study that was done, and, a lot of people who had invested a lot, who were going to invest a lot in their trade shows. And this was a survey done. And when it was asked them, where exactly you're going to reinvest your money that you had planned to invest in your trade show, a lot of people answered, we'll shift our money to digital advertising with 28% response. We'll shift our money to content creation. Then a couple of said, we'll shift our budgets to, sales travel budgets. And a lot of said, we will not reinvest that money. We will see, how the situation is going to be. We will, stay calm right now. We'll try and see what happens to the market, and then we'll see, what actions need to be taken. However, if you look at the change in the consumption overall and the behavior of the consumer overall, so sports, events, and all the out of home activities are totally down, which is, out of question altogether. Whereas if you look at the consumption of news and media, definitely everybody is sitting at home, consuming more media, more news channels, more social media channels, more TV online, podcast, and gaming. And that must be the reason. You might have also noticed that recently, if you play games as well, you might have seen a lot of gaming ads, even from Facebook, promoting live streaming on games that you might have seen. All right. So this is the overall behavioral change, but this data is of UK. We should not say this is UAE. This is a UK based data that in the consumption of various type of media, starting from watching TV to gaming consoles. So this is the change in the behavior. And if you look at most of it, wherever people are sitting at home doing something, there is always a gain. So you can look at the rightmost column and see there is a gain in watching TV, live streaming, and visiting social media websites, reading newspaper, stuff like that. All right. However, the question is before we move further, the question is whether we should use it as a tool that everybody's there online. Should we start advertising? No, definitely not, because we need to understand the situation right now. We should not go and ask them to buy stuff right away. Let's try and understand how to deal with this kind of situations and when to take the right actions. So before we begin, I'll take a couple of examples where the similar kind of scenarios has already happened. So I mean, if you look at what happened in Iceland in 2010, if you can move to the next slide, Nagesh. Yeah, so a volcano hit, in 2010, and it was post-recession. I mean, global financial crisis, 2007-8. So after that, the travel was completely shut. No air traffic was coming to the country, and it was a complete disaster as a country for Iceland. But if you look at how they came out of the situation, so they partnered with Brooklyn Brothers and an advertising agency, and they came up with a 3-step strategy. Now, this 3-step strategy was very simple. First of all, they tried to gather, they tried to, get their people on board that, this is something, this situation we need to get out of with a positive thought. So they launched a campaign called Iceland R, and that Iceland R, even the prime minister followed. And I mean, right now as well, if you see a lot of countries, including India as well, a lot of prime ministers and, people are taking actions and, trying to, make their, people feel that, something positive is happening. That's what, you need to understand. So, Nagesh, can you please go keep on the last slide itself? All right. So the second thing that they did was, launching a campaign inspired by Iceland, which was done by the locals, and they started talking positive messaging through social media channels and spreading goodness, essentially, talking good about, because, they didn't want, directly to invite other people. First, they wanted to, feel good about the country itself, made sure that everybody's on board, get these people on board. And then they started, spreading the goodness with inspired by Iceland. And through, and then finally they concluded it with a live streamed music concert. So that was something that they did, and it helped them. It actually helped them after that crisis to get them out of that situation. Because right now, if you look at most of the affected, the highly affected industry is the tourism industry. Nobody's traveling. I mean, the people are scared to travel. People who are traveling right now is, they're in either stuck somewhere, and because of the quarantine situation or something like that. Otherwise, nobody is willing to travel. Everybody is there sitting at home, which is right. And if you look at the numbers, how they came out, it helped them to get 72,000 tourists to the country during the campaign period itself. And you can look at the campaign period in the graph itself, and it added to 127 million pounds. I mean, that's not bad, right, to add to the economy. So that was something, that and at the same time, what happened at SARS in 2008. So I will hand it over to Nagesh from here. He'll continue from this slide onward.
Thank you, Faizan. So as Faizan was talking about, so it's always we look at the historical data whether something like this has happened in the past, right? So that one way helps us understand the current situation, the gravity of current situation, and also help us plan for the future, right? So SARS is a relatable case, an example, right? How China was suffering in 2003, and even Alibaba was putting its baby step then, right? Even though it had a strong competitor like eBay in the market, just because of for their staying invested in the marketing, they actually are now a 470 billion company now, right? Likewise, in the Great Depression of 1920s, if you look at, so Post was another company, industry leader, right? How Kellogg's actually overtook him, right? By just being invested by staying invested in the advertising, right? A similar case, Toyota, as we all know, one of the leading global brands, right? How they were in the 1970s, they were competing with Honda, and how in the 1973 depression, they still continued with their marketing budgets. And then you see where Honda is and where Toyota is today, right? We don't have to talk much about Amazon. As we know, by valuation, it's the global number one brand in the world. And how after 2009 recession, right? How they planned their marketing strategy, and they grew. And Google's profit also, saw incredible increase in 2009 after 2009 depression, right? So these are the cases that we can actually take help of. And moving forward, so at any crisis, normally businesses are categorized into three buckets, right? One is some businesses which try and survive. So what are the typical characteristics of them? Very short-sighted, scared and confused, really don't know what to do, and require a lot of convincing, right? So they're really scared to take any decision. The other ones who will survive or who will sustain after the crisis are the ones who actually come in tune with the reality. Correct? They accept the reality as it is. For example, if there is a chain of bakery, right, who are not offering their services online, if they just open up an e-commerce platform and they're able to serve the clients at this juncture, so they are really coming to terms with the reality and making best use of the situation, right? So that's how brands has to be tuned to the situation. And the businesses which sustain also take cautious steps. At the same time, they're open for suggestions, right? And the businesses that really surge after any crisis, this all basis the study, are the ones who manage the current situation better. They manage the demand side better, right? At the same time, look at the new avenues where they can actually grow, like the e-commerce and various other options, and then hitting the market with the revised marketing plan. Really not putting brakes on the marketing plan, but yeah, going ahead and having a new marketing plan in place, right? So moving on, so let's look at some of the cases how the big brands are responding to this crisis, right? So this is a recent survey done by Edelman, and which clearly says, which talks about the customer's expectation. Okay, so what customers are really saying is they would like to be associated with a brand which is responding to this crisis. About 65% of them, if they don't see a brand responding or doing its bit in whatever capacity it can to help people and come out of this crisis, they're not really going to be associated. So that's a staggering 65%, right? So how typically businesses are responding, right? You can, on the right hand side, you can see what Coca-Cola had put out on its social media, right? The Philippines Coke had put out saying that for us, people's lives matter at this crisis. We are really not worried about our business, right? So they also pledged about 150 million uh, for the crisis, right? And that's how they said, right? That's how they set the benchmark. They put people first, not their business, right? How typically businesses are responding? They're forming crisis management teams, developing diagnosis protocols, taking care of their employees by encouraging them to do exercises, right? And obviously travel ban, as we all know, and then adapting new technology, right? So that's one big change and big trend. All of you will agree with me, right? Which has already started happening. That's how they're adapting. And then through training. So also a lot of businesses, they're using this time to upskill their staff so that when in the future, they're ready when the crisis is over, right? How other some examples of UAE, how businesses have responded, right? So apart from whatever steps government has taken, so you can look at the names like Nakil, you can look at Al Futtaim, IBC Group, all of them have pledged money and also doing their bit, right? Moving on, Tata Group, Indian conglomerate, they have also pledged about 1,500 crores. Al Futtaim, Al Zurani Group, all of them have pledged money. At the same time, many of them are making a statement that they're not really going to lay off people, right? So that's also a really a convincing statement for the brands to make. How are other brands responding, right? Ola Cabs, as all you know, one of the leading cab aggregator in India. So they don't have drivers are not their employees, drivers are their partners. So from that point, what they said is, let's drive the people who were driving us, right? Because all of them are off road now. So they set a target for themselves of raising 50 crores, and look at what has already happened. They have raised close to half of it, right? And they have clearly made the communication also very clear. So how they are going to use this fund, because transparency, even at the time of crisis, is very important, and already they have done that, right? So how brands are engaging on social media? Some of the samples, the right ones and the not so right ones, right? So MasterCard, I mean, as you know, it's again one of the leading brands, and logo is something that is sacrosanct to every brand, right? They never allow anyone to fudge with it. But because of the crisis, this is how they tried communicating and engaging with the audience, right? That's very important. Doing what you can on the ground to change the situation, at the same time engaging with the audience in a creative way. Some more examples, if you have to see, Nike, which always propagated people to jump and wear their shoes and be encourage people to be always on track and be running. They said, it's okay, now you stay at home, right? You can see Fevicol, and just play this. So this is what Audi did, right, to encourage social distancing, right? So very unique way how brands are engaging. It's really interesting, right? Let's see what Coca-Cola India did to thank all the medical professionals, people who are actually getting their hands dirty at this time and facing a lot of brunt, right? So again, you have the brand element, at the same time they're making the right noises, all right? Again, some of the brands like Oyo, went ahead and contradicted their own business proposal, right? So Oyo, as you know, is a hotel aggregator, right? They always encourage people to come and stay at their home, but now they said that it's okay, you stay at home, not hotel, right? So brands have taken that bold step also. At the same, Wall Street, one of our customers, they also said, your health is really important to us. That's our priority. In case if you need any support, we are there. So that's the kind of communication Wall Street Exchange has put out, all right? So not so good ones. So at this time, so as Faizan was also saying, brand has to be sensitive to the market, all right? KFC didn't realize that. It kept running the ad campaign which it was running, the finger licking campaign, right? And when everyone is talking about hygiene, right, not to touch your face with hands, So this campaign really annoyed many people. So then they had to really forcefully stop it, right? That's not a good thing. And again, Philip's event, which was talking about hygiene and the baby hygiene, and it actually confused a lot of mothers. The mothers started thinking that okay, they should cleanse their baby in multiple ways to keep them healthy, not just whatever government was saying. So then again, to stop the confusion, they has to stop the ad. So brands has to be sensitive, right? So direct. Now moving on. So what we really have to look at is what really has changed, right? I mean, we all know what is actually going on, right? So many brands were talking about digital transformation, digital adaptation, but I'm sure you must have seen this also, right? Who is actually leading the digital transformation now? Is it the CEO and the CTO of the company? Not really. It's COVID, right? Because many of the brands who had never used Zoom to come remotely connect, no project management tools, are forced to adapt it now, right? So that's a kind of transformation and digital adaptation that we are seeing. So what exactly brands can do, right? This is the meat of the whole webinar, correct? So we saw what brands are doing now. So this is what every brand can actually do, correct? Adaptation of the technology, as we just spoke of, right? At the same time, leverage WhatsApp stickers, because that even though you can't measure the reach, but it has unprecedented reach, right? So everyone is on WhatsApp. So create WhatsApp stickers. You can see a couple of examples there, right? And also leverage the email marketing, the good old email marketing, right? It still works. Communicate whether your businesses are open or closed, however you're serving your customers. So that's very important. At the same time, try and automate the email also, because a lot of the companies are understaffed, right? So automation will really come handy here. And also open another window of communication, right? Which is WhatsApp for Business, which is available for free for every brand, right? You can just go to the Play Store and download it. And with a unique number, you can actually set up your company account, right? And that opens up another channel of communication. So these are the few things that companies can do. Moving on, what more we can do, right? Google My Business, right? So assuming that most of you have control of your Google My Business account. So what you can really do is, if you're not open, you can really say that you're temporarily closed, so that no one actually visits your office and goes through a bad experience, right? That's very important. So you should update that on Google My
Nagesh,
Business. Yeah.
Nagesh, I would like to just jump in, because we are getting a couple of questions on, they are very, very much concerned in terms of, how a small business owner should take the situation, because the examples that we have taken is majorly from the brands, and we are setting up a benchmark. This is the right way of doing it. So if you can, just give a couple of examples starting from, because, I was waiting for the slide. So I knew that, you can cover those points of, how small businesses can,
Okay.
at least, brush up
Very
the
important.
stuff,
Very important.
because that is, yeah, that is very, very
Very
crucial, and
important.
then we'll cover in the communication strategy as well.
Exactly. I think that's a very valid question, right? So, I mean, Google My Business primarily is for small businesses, right? It's for the normal mom and pop shop. It's for the normal bakery that is there, right? So it can communicate and it can tell whether it's open, because how people search is the nearest laundry shop near me, right? When if Google says it's open or closed, people will take the decision to visit it or not. So Google My Business is for small businesses. WhatsApp for Business is for small. It's still not rolled out. You can't do your marketing activities on WhatsApp for business. It's only for communication with one-on-one, right? So these are the free tools which is available, small businesses can use. At the same time, what Google has changed on Google My Businesses, you can't really update your business information, because Google is also undergoing understaff, right? So you can't really update your business information, and you can't really accept or respond to the reviews, right? So that's still fine. But what are the basic things that is really required in Google My Business is really there. And also what Google has done, look at what small businesses can do. Google has already pledged about 800 million, right, in ads credit, right? So what we would request all businesses is keep checking your Google Ads dashboard. If you don't have one, it's high time you just go ahead and create and put the right information there, your company address and all that. So you might be the lucky one who will get that credit from Google, right? So that's one request we all do. right? Moving on, what Facebook is doing, right? So Facebook has also pledged about 100 million. It's again to help small businesses. Obviously, these, but they're not really talking about helping out IBMs and Apples of the world. It's about small businesses, and as you can see, small businesses grants program, correct? So post this webinar, we will be sharing this presentation, and it will have this link. We would request all of you to just click on it and express your interest to avail the grant, right? So if you are the chosen ones, you will get the grant from the Facebook, right? So what has really changed on the Facebook as a platform due to COVID, right? So ad approvals are taking time, right? And what we would really suggest is to continue to run the current ads. If you want to really promote something, pick up the best one which was performing and just run that. And also at the same time, you can leverage Facebook frames, correct? And also there's a new feature which is called as questions to your potential customers, right? Most of you are also understaffed, so what it does is it qualifies the customer before even they talk to you. So it saves your time, and you don't have to really have a person to manage it. So it all can be automated. If you find it difficult, please feel to reach out to us post this discussion, right? Let's look at what LinkedIn is doing, correct? So as you can see, LinkedIn is offering free courses, free credits for ads again, and free premium upgrades, and free teamwork. So teamwork is a tool from Microsoft, as many of you know, and Google is also part of Microsoft. So all of this is available for free now. So if you are haven't used them yet, it's high time you go ahead and use it, right? Moving on. So how, you know, it's regarding the communication strategy, and over to Faizan to talk about it.
All right. So I see a lot of concerns about, I can see in that in the chat session, people are talking about, how a small business owner should, take up to this situation, and how to tackle the situation, and how to handle this situation essentially. So, see, all we have to do is, take baby steps. There is no silver bullet to success. I mean, we all are in business. We understand the criticality of the situation, but at the same time, how we can maximize the situation in terms of using it through the right communication strategy, that is very, very crucial. Even for a small business or a big brand, it's at the end of the day, we need to understand the situation itself. Even your clients, your clients are also humans. They are also going through the same thing. If maybe they are also going through the cash crisis, that the same crisis that you are facing. So it's we need to, first of all, the first thing to build a communication strategy is to listen to your audience. Listen to your audience, listen to your customers, do a survey, ask your existing clients what are the challenges that they are facing. Listen, look at the data, and be sensitive towards the situation and the depth of the situation. It's not just about you, it's not just about us, it's about everyone. I mean, we need to understand how exactly we need to tackle this situation together. It's not about just do advertising on this platform and we can get that. Definitely there are channels, and we as Nagesh already mentioned, there are companies are doing their bit in terms of giving free credits and stuff like that. Start making use of that. I mean, instead of advertising, start making use of that. So when we start to make use of that, it anyways it helps. Wherever money, every penny saved is every penny earned. That's what it is all about. So we need to understand, the situation, the depth of the situation, and be open to your peers. I mean, talk to your employees, talk to your customers, and then change your communication strategy. So when I said, listen to your audience, or listen to your customers, or the people first, how exactly you look at the trends, what is trending, whichever industry you are in, you can make use of the tools. If you can go to the next slide, Nagesh, all right. So look at the Google trends, put up some Google alerts in the same industry. What is happening? Look at the questions that people are asking, look at, what people are questioning about. And at the same time, make use of some tools and technologies in terms of understanding what are the concerns of the people. If you are not using listening tools, I'm not going to talk about, because a lot of comments are coming that we are SMEs and stuff like that. So I'm not going to talk about social media listening tools. Forget about that. We can at least look at Google trends. We can look at what is happening at Quora, what is happening at and then accordingly you need to create a strategy. Otherwise, what will happen? You will try and sell something which is not worth it. I mean, at the end of the day, you need to understand what your customers are also looking for. So that is very, very crucial for a business right now. Instead of just jumping on to into everything and try in something which is not going to help you, first you need to start using some tools and start. And for an example, we have got a lot of queries where people in educational institute we are working with a lot of SMEs as well. These are small institutions and stuff like that. So recently they have started to move to online learning. I mean, and if you look at the trends in UAE itself, that trend has picked up, and the entire world is seeing the same trend. At the same time, in real estate, people are taking a lateral view of how exactly you need to take investments in. So one of our recent I'll share a case study. I mean, actually with you guys, I'll just give you an example. So recently, when before the lockdown situation in India, one of our clients, they actually sold 19 units during the period when people started talking about corona in India. I mean, so if that period as well, if they can sell, that means there are still people who are looking to invest. It depends on the industry you are in. It depends on the brand that you are working with. I mean, it depends on the kind of clientele that you have, and based on, so you always need to have a framework, and the framework is very simple. Listen, be sensitive, be responsible, open to your peers, and then prepare a plan, and that will help you. And then start making use of the small elements that you can utilize. Let's say for an example, so in the next couple of slides, Nagesh is going to cover some action points that you can use. As a small business owner, what are the stuff that you can do in terms of driving business opportunities, and how you can maximize on social media ads. So if you were investing in some other channels which were where you were investing a lot of money, you can cut down your investment and look at the right kind of investments that you can do, the right verticals, the right platforms. A lot of people ask us, if I'll not advertise, whether I lose my brand. It depends. If your spends are going to be down completely for next 6-7 months, it depends on the period. If you would say I'll take a pause for a month, that makes sense. Okay, you just want to get out of, understand the situation better, and after a month you will start to advertise again. But even to advertise, you need to advertise smartly. That's what the whole point is. Yeah. Nagesh, you can continue.
So moving on. So way forward, as Faizan was rightly saying, right? So especially for small businesses, so we should really take steps which actually makes difference on the ground, right? We saw that survey where 65% of the people are expecting brands to do something on the ground, which changes, right? So if we are B2C, we should surely see what we can do and take accordingly. There's no silver bullet, as he said, but we have to be very calibrate, and we have to take that step, right? And again, the simple things, how you can empathize and connect with the people. You can see the Facebook frame on the right hand side, right? What Wisoft Solutions has created for ourselves, right? So you can empathize with the people, and you can showcase you care about them, right? You can change your cover images on all the social platforms with the right messaging, create website pop-ups, then WhatsApp stickers, which we spoke about. That's also, I mean, many people doesn't know that, yeah, we can actually create WhatsApp stickers. It really, we can do it. If you really need support on that, I mean, we are here to help you on that as well, right? Encashing free credits, which we already spoke about on Facebook, Google, and LinkedIn. Keep checking your dashboards on a daily basis. Keep checking your emails from them. You might be the lucky one who will get their grant for small businesses, right? And take up long pending activities which were really in the back burner, right? On your day-to-day activity, you never had time to look at your website content, what is it's been communicated. These are your digital assets. These are the things that represent your company online, right? They have to be in real shape, and they have to be updated. That's how it works, and that's how it helps you, right? So just take a look at it and try and make changes and update it, revamp it. If you don't have an e-commerce, if you feel that's really important, try and build an e-commerce site. It's really, you don't have to really invest huge. You don't really have to be a big business to have an e-commerce site, right? There are a lot of tools available online. We can also help you out. Look at the SEO plan. Look at the marketing automation tools, right? And also invest in free tools. I mean, you can just avail the free tools that is really available. And what we would really request is, if you're SMB, use WhatsApp for business, the icon that you see here, right, which is free, and Google My Business, right? And if you're running ads, continue to run the ads, and don't create any new fresh ads, right? So importantly, what also happened is, obviously everyone is trying to do their bit to help and elevate the situation, right? We at Wisoft also, started thinking what we can do to help, especially the small businesses, right? Because not all of them have the bandwidth, not all of them have the great budgets to carry out massive campaigns. So what we thought is, whatever we can do from our end, right? So we will do it for free for 3 months, correct? Starting from today, right, till end of the June. So what we have rolled out is, any business who wants to run ads on any platform with a monthly budget of 5,000 US dollar, 500 US dollars, we would not really charge them for the agency fee or the ad management fee. Typically, that ranges from 15 to 20%, right? So we have waived that off. Any small business who want to communicate something or want to do on the ad platforms, please feel free to reach out to us. We'll not charge you. Yeah. And at the same time, we would like to use this time and audit your performance campaigns of the past, and we will give you the insight, and you can use that insight and plan your future. All right. So at the same time, we are here to help you out to integrate HubSpot CRM for free, right? That is something that we are here to help you out. And then again, manage your Google My Business for free for 3 months. Correct. So after this webinar, what we're going to do is, we are going to share this presentation. Along with that, if you can just respond to that email by expressing your interest, we will take it forward from there. So, this is what, Wisoft Solutions is offering and trying to do our bit, right? So I think in a way we have covered the topics that we wanted. And Faizan, if you can take up Q&A and
All right,
answer.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So basically, like, also, you're welcome, Murtaza. So we, just trying our bit in terms of, how we can help people. So if you guys have any other questions as well, we'll try to, take up the queries, in much more detail now. But at the same time, if you have any other questions or queries, you can just simply, jump into the chat room, and you can just simply, put up your queries. We'll try to answer that. Now, one thing that Amin had asked, actually, that
Okay.
he mentioned that, our clients pay, money, and then we pay the bills. I understand, that's definitely is there, but if you look at, if the situation is not going to change, if the situation is going to stay, let's say for 3 months, let's say for 2 months, let's say only for 1 month, we pray it should be only for a couple of weeks, and things go back to the normal. Okay, we all pray, and we'll help, and we'll try to stay at home, we'll try to stop the spread of the virus. That's what we should aim at. However, let's say for an example, if it it happens for a couple of months, you're not going to see, at the end of the day, you're paying salaries. At the end of the day, you have your manpower sitting at hand, you have people working for you. This is the right time to understand your current and existing customers. Try and talk to them more, try and nurture them more, try and understand where you can help them further, where you can improve the quality of your services. Because in growth strategies, whenever we look at the data, the highest or the most important factor that we see in any growth marketing or growth strategy is the loyalty. If you can build up the loyalty with your customers, and that can only be built with a super amazing quality of your services. So if you can look at the quality of services that you are providing, if you look at the quality of product, if you can, and at the same time, from the marketing perspective, from the digital perspective, look at the digital assets that you have, evaluate, analyze, work on your SEO, try to get more organic reach. Let's say for example, after 3 months, if the market starts to open, people start to search, and if you are still not there, you're not going to get business, even if the situation is normal. So you need to be competitive enough to understand the situation, and at the same time prepare for it, how exactly you're going to sail through the situation. That's how we should all look at. And we as well, we should not say that we are not affected, or the other people are not affected. Everybody is affected. I mean, we are also facing a lot of challenges. We are also facing a lot of difficulties in terms of asking people to spend money, because they do they're not in a mood right now. They don't have clarity, or they have they have the clarity, but they don't want to take that risk. Depends on that. So you need to analyze your situation as well as the market situation. Both the things you need to balance, and then put up a proper plan and strategy. And with our service, as we are going to give you a free audit. We can definitely help you out to understand your pain points. We can definitely help you to mark out the problems that you have with your existing digital assets. And when we set up the campaign, we'll help you out in terms of the right ways that you can do. Yeah. So if you have any other questions, we'll take that up here. You can just put up in the chat. Or we will conclude the session in time. I mean,
it's blinking. I'm not able to see the
I can see.
question. Can you just check what is it? Is there a query so that we try and answer it?
All right. Okay. Perfect. So the question is actually a company that relies completely on event marketing. I mean, on offline events. So this is Robinson has asked that question, and I'm assuming worst situation, which can be for as long as 1 year or more. What can be done for a small business? That's a very valid question. I mean,
very true, very true. I think just to quickly talk about. I think as we know, Dubai Expo, which was slated to happen in October, such a big event which the entire UAE was preparing for over the years, has been delayed by an year. Correct. Very true. Especially the offline events are being delayed, but obviously there are contingency plans, and surely that budget, as we saw in the previous survey also, those budgets are getting shifted to digital, right? And if you look at yesterday's Adobe Summit, which is one of the very interesting summit that all the big tech guys will look up to, right? Adobe Summit, that itself went completely virtual, right? I think if event of that scale can go virtual, I'm sure there are many events. Even as the governments are conducting their cabinet meetings remotely, right? And there are many things that are happening. So many things will surely take the shape of a digital, is what we foresee. Yeah, Faizan. Yeah.
I'll give you a local example as well. I mean, I have a friend. So Jan actually is, he runs a company called Venture Central. Their complete businesses, events. So all of their events are now, put on hold. And he's exactly like Robinson. He's also struggling in terms of, understanding. So, but the baby steps that, the company has taken is, they have taken all their, conferences online. So they run a brand fusion congress that, they have started taking it online. It was a complete offline activity. Now they have taken it complete online. So even that angle, if it is about corporate events and stuff like that, you can even think in that direction. If it is only about some other wedding and stuff like that, other kind of events, then then you need to hold and pray to God. That's what we should say.
True.
All right. Okay. So thank you so much, guys. If you have any further questions,
I think we'll share this presentation.
We will share this presentation with you. And further, if you have any queries, you can respond back to the email that you would receive. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, and hope and pray that we all come out of the situation soon. And these are our contact coordinates. So please feel free to reach out to us for any support, or if you want to have a conversation. Thanks a lot. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.